Jackie, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Look, just a quick question. So, a typical landlord, how much can he save if he's going to use your services?
At least $1,500.
And why is that? Can you tell me a bit more?
Yeah, so what happens with my service is that I do the inspections for them and they don't pay me any commission. So I charge every 3 months a fee of $75 plus GST, and you get the service of a property manager looking after your property. So I don't take the weekly rent and pay it out at the end of the month less the commission. It's your rent, it goes into your account, and you just pay me for the service that I provide.
Is it normally a yearly contract or you do it, let's say, inspection by inspection?
It's a yearly contract that I do like to sign up for, so it's 4 inspections, so $300 a year plus GST, all tax deductible, and yeah, so it's just every service that I provide is what you pay for though, so $75 every 3 months, so you don't have to pay $300 up front, it's just $75.
Jackie, your business is insured?
Yes.
And why is it insured and what do you have as insurance?
Okay, I have public liability insurance, so that covers me for going into people's properties, so for any incidences that happen, which haven't yet.
So it's just for you as a safety net, right? That's
Yes.
why you are using it.
Yes, definitely.
And would many landlords ask you about insurance?
No one has,
Okay.
but maybe it's a given that everyone should have public liability insurance, but yeah, I've definitely got it.
So let's say, for the example, I'm a landlord, and first of all, how do I find about what you do and how you do it? Where can I get additional information?
On my website.
On your website,
Yeah,
excellent.
which is
Then now, let's what if you're going to take me by my hand and just walk me through the process? What do we need to sign up? How our agreement is going to look like? And what if I'm going to have, let's say, bad tenants?
okay. If you have bad tenants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you have bad tenants now, so from the process, we begin with the registration form. Very
Yes.
simple. You fill in your name, the tenant's name, the details, and sign away. So from there, I take over. So I get hold of the tenant. I do suggest you get hold of the tenant though, and tell them that you are employing a third party to come and do your inspections.
Yes.
So I then call the tenant, organise to carry out the inspection while they're home. I like to meet them first so they feel comfortable with me and their property. So I give the correct notice, which is 48 hours notice you have to give your tenants. So I go to the property and carry out the inspection. So it's a comprehensive 2-page inspection that goes through the whole house, and you also get photos of everything. So, and I take photos every 3 months, so we've got something to compare every 3 months too. So wear and tear, any damage. If they move out and say that hole was there, then we can go back and say no, it wasn't. So you get it all in a Dropbox file, so it doesn't clog up your computer, and you've got it on the cloud all the time to look back on.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I believe there are lots of people who do not like your services.
There's
Like property managers, for instance.
yes.
So that you are in direct competition with them because it's your unique proposition, right? I believe there are so
Yes.
many people who would actually want to use your services.
Well, it saves so much money. With the
Okay.
Auckland yield so low, you do save so much money by just using an inspection service. So it's having the help of a property manager without the expense.
So how can you explain to a property manager that the businesses, let's say the services you provide, is different to compare to what they provide?
Okay, the difference
So
between
the point I'm trying to make is it's
What is the
obviously a
difference?
very difficult conversation, right?
Yeah.
With someone who is a property manager.
Yeah. The difference, the point of difference is that I don't take commission. I only take $75 every 3 months plus GST.
And this is paid by the landlord to you
Yeah.
directly.
That's correct. So for $300 a year plus GST, they're covered. So they're meeting their insurance obligations and their tenant obligations, tenant landlords. So yeah,
Jackie, are you a landlord yourself?
I am a
Yeah.
landlord. I have 2 properties.
And how is it going?
Really good.
So
The
you
best
do
that
you
I
do
can.
it
I do my inspections every 3
yourself,
months.
right? Every
yeah.
3 months.
Actually, and one of my things that I do is I have a friend that has a property management business.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that she has her own properties
Yes.
and I have my properties, and we inspect each other's house. So it just takes that landlord-tenant relationship and keeps it nice. So if there's anything wrong, then I can deal with it because someone else has done a report.
Yes.
So I'm actually paying for my service. So, and that's where I saw a niche in the market to think, you know, we don't want the hassle of annoying our tenants. You know, no one likes to say to your tenant, clean your oven, but I don't mind telling your tenant to clean their oven because it's a third party and I don't have any relationship with that tenant. So it's just a process that has to be followed, where I haven't got that landlord-tenant relationship where I'm trying to keep it nice. It's just a third party and it's my job to keep you happy as a landlord.
Tricky question. You as a landlord and you as the person who is running this wonderful business, what would you say majority of landlords do wrong?
Oh, okay, there's quite a few things I do
Just
wrong.
give me two.
Okay, 48 hours notice of going onto the property. You're not to go on the property unless you've given 48 hours notice. So if you're there mowing the lawns,
Yes.
which you can have on your contract that you mow the lawns, which is fine, you're not to go knock on the door. So you can be mowing the lawns and there's stuff all over the property. You still can't knock on the door and say, can you come pick up your stuff? It's illegal. You can't cross that line. They're paying rent to live in that house and they need their privacy. So it's probably bad enough that they're mowing their lawns and they know they're looking at the house, but you can't cross that line. So that's one of the majors that a lot of my landlords do wrong. Another thing that they do wrong is letting rent go too long. 1 day overdue is too many days overdue. So a 14-day notice letter has to be sent as soon as that rent is 1 day overdue. So a lot of landlords let it go 1 week and then it's 2 weeks, and before you know it, it's out of control and you have to do all the processes. So that's probably the top two.
Now let's talk about a very touchy subject, which is PLABs.
Yeah.
So in your experience, have you seen those houses?
Oh yes. Yes.
Are there many? Are there many?
Yeah,
is it?
and it's
So you're saying that this particular drug is very popular?
It is very, it's out there. I also offer meth testing.
Okay.
So
how much is that?
it's $129 plus
Would it be right for me to think that every new tenant I should do it as a, let's say, a responsible landlord, right?
I think it would be highly recommended. So what I suggest is that you have a base.
Yes.
So you'd be surprised how much meth is in property. That you have had a property for the last 10 years and you get it tested and think it's in there. There are levels that are safe, so you don't have to.
So there is
worry.
safe level.
There are safe levels. There is, yeah. Well,
Where is it
there's
come from?
different. Yeah, there's different. It's if you manufacture methamphetamine,
Mhm.
then of course the levels are going to be higher. But if you smoke it, or I don't actually know exactly how they do it, but a lot of it is smoking, so the levels can be lower. And usually when they move their furniture and everything out, it goes lower again. But what I suggest to landlords is to get a base test done, and then it's there, you can file it, and then you can say on your agreements that this house has been meth tested and will be meth tested at the end of the tenancy. So anything on that report will be liable to them. And it just stops them doing it at your house. Let them do it at their friend's house, but don't do it in your house.
It's very wise.
So,
So
yeah.
that's actually can be contractual obligation from
Yeah, I think it should be something
between
that
landlord
really,
and the tenant,
yeah, it really should be something that's compulsory in my view, but it's not yet. But I know that as a family, if my family was renting a house, if it had been meth tested and it's meth free, I would look at that house and spend extra money on that house because it's been meth tested, it's guaranteed to be meth free, so safe. So it's something to think about, and definitely pre-purchase. If you're buying a rental property, get it meth tested.
Well, that's very interesting subject, huh? Very interesting subject. So what about pre-tenancy and exit inspections? How do they look like and how
Okay.
much do they cost?
$99 for a final inspection and a first inspection. So final inspections are the worst, and private landlords are terrible at it. So a private landlord will go into a final inspection when they've moved out and just go through, clean, tick, tick, tick. There's light bulbs, there's elements, there's so many things on a property that you have to check when they're leaving, and you'll be surprised how many tenants take light bulbs. Well, in certain areas they do anyway.
Seriously?
seriously. Yeah, I see everything. So, yeah, sometimes there's a hot water cylinder missing.
It's a bit kind of a large subject, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, your final inspections, if you do your final inspections really well, then anything that needs doing can be taken out of the bond. But you always find, well, I've found in my experience that final inspections done by private landlords are done fast to get rid of the tenant. Then when that first inspection happens, when you've got your first new tenant in there, they look at everything. They're like, oh, the carpet's not clean, the cupboards weren't wiped out. How many times do you look into all your kitchen cupboards and they're not wiped out? And it's not a landlord's job to do that, it's a tenant's job to do that. So it's very hard to get a tenant in and out on the same day, and I don't suggest that. I always suggest to wait a couple of days, because any extra cleaning the old tenant can do.
Do you have, let's say, a preferable suburb to work with, let's say?
Preferable?
Suburb, let's say, for instance,
Oh,
you are West Auckland, yes.
I'm originally from South Auckland, so I'm a South Auckland girl. So that's my area I specialise in. So, and unfortunately they are the rougher areas that I have found. I actually don't mind those areas. I find them, there are some really lovely people, so you've just got to get the best tenant for the house that you have. West Auckland, I've got quite a few in West Auckland. All suburbs are different, and West Auckland is really nice, and it's coming along really, really great. North Shore is a lovely place to work, but then you do find that there's always problem tenants wherever you go. Wherever you go, there will be problem tenants. So I go as far as Tikawata. So Tikawata is my furthest property that I inspect, and I go as far as Whangarei. So I cover a big distance. So
how many inspections do you do in a year?
Well, I've got, at the moment on my books, I've got 120.
Mm-hmm.
So I can fit a lot more in. So I will also be getting help as well as I get more crazy.
So you actually seen, so obviously your business is booming, and therefore you are seeing it as an additional proposition for landlords. Huh?
Yes.
So it's very good service.
Yeah.
I believe very good service.
So.
Yes.
I just think that niche in the market just needed to be filled. Like, private landlords either do it alone or they need a property manager, and they shouldn't have to do it all alone. So this way they can, and just have an inspection service done. So it's a requirement of their insurance. So, and even though the insurance is 6 monthly in some policies, yours is 6 monthly. 3 monthly is what I strongly
Which is better,
suggest.
yes, it's just better.
Yeah,
yes.
it
and
is
it is
way
better for the property, it is better for
Yeah.
landlord,
And it's
and if
better for the
something goes
tenant.
wrong, it
Yeah.
is a lot easier to fix it
Yeah.
straight away.
And I find too that with a third party, the tenants will tell me way more than they'll tell you. So they'll tell me things if they're thinking about moving. Of course they'll tell me, they wouldn't tell you as a landlord, but they'll say, oh, we're actually thinking about moving, have you got any places available? Where I could come back and say, your tenants are thinking about moving. And so, it just gives you that little bit of a up to think, okay, maybe it's time they moved, or what can we do to keep them, and they tell me more things that are wrong too. That, if they're not happy with something, like, if there's mold coming in the bathroom, and sometimes it can be a roof tile, like, they go, oh, we clean the mold off all the time, but, so I don't see it, but they will talk to me, because I'll say, is there any issues, is there anything wrong? So they feel like they've been looked after, and the landlord's getting looked after. So even though we're looking at them, they actually feel like they're getting looked after. So that's what I portray to them, that they're getting looked after. So it's a win-win.
Jackie, last question. How would it be seen by tenancy tribunal? Your inspections, let's say you do inspections for me, and I'm a landlord.
Yeah.
In a situation where I have, let's say, bad tenants, or I wasn't performing as good as I should, and being a landlord, how would your inspections look from the legal perspectives?
Well, legally, you're covering a big policy on your agreement that you should be inspecting your property.
So that it's only you doing it, it doesn't really make any difference, right?
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So I mean, even if my staff were doing it,
Mhm.
it's a comprehensive inspection report. It would have everything wrong, everything that was getting fixed. Every 3 months it would show that stuff was getting done.
Yes.
So if they did take you to the tenancy tribunal for anything that they weren't happy with, you've got in black and white that you were doing it, that you were meeting your obligations as a landlord.
Is there anything else you would want to mention about your business?
It's a unique business. It is very, very unique. It's the first one in New Zealand that I found.
Have you patented it? I mean, do you have a patent on it?
No, I don't.
No? Well,
I
you
don't.
should. You
Maybe I
should.
should. Maybe I should. But I think what it is, it comes down to personality as well. I do believe that. I have a good rapport with my landlords. I have lots of references if you want references. And yeah, I think it's just that rapport. I've got a good rapport with tenants. I know my staff. I've got a property management background, so it's getting a property manager for no commission.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jack, and
You're
thank you
very
for coming
welcome.
in. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.